Hey everybody, John Napolitano here with you from Stock Trading Pro. I hope everybody had an amazing new year and an amazing holiday so far. Right now it is January 3rd, 2025. I can't believe it's 2025 already. I just hope everybody's going to have a wonderful year ahead. And the way to really plan for a wonderful year ahead, because we never know what's going to happen, is to really kind of reflect on what some of the things you did from a trading perspective last year and some of the things that you could potentially change for the better. Remember, the stock market really doesn't care or doesn't remember what your year was like last year. So we had double-digit returns last year. We had double-digit returns in 2023. The chances of that happening again in 2025 become lower and lower, obviously. So that being said, you have to have a different plan for this year going ahead that we had in the last 2 years. So you have to look and say to yourself, if I had a really good year, you got to put your ego in check and say, hey, this year might be a little bit tougher. I need to really focus on my plan, focus on what I'm doing, and make sure that I manage my risk properly. So that's number one. At Stock Trading Pros, I'm the options instructor here. We have coaching. We have plenty of opportunity for you guys to watch and learn and to also partake from our coaching and from our community. How to properly manage your risk and how to put trades together in a way that helps you with your consistency. So one of the things I want to talk about going into 2025 is what the expectations are. I'm going to share something with you really quick. I'm going to share my screen with you right now and jump into this. First, I'm going to show you basically this chart right here. And this just goes to show you how rare of a situation we're in right now. This represents this little bar chart right here. This little blue line right here represents 2024, and you can see back-to-back annual returns of at least 20% for the S&P 500 really hasn't happened for more than 20 years. Not since 1999, 98, and 97. That was the roaring 90s during the tech boom. You can see we had 3 back-to-back years of over 20% returns. And that, my friends, hasn't happened prior to that since the mid 1950s. And that was only for 1 year back to back. And then prior to that, we didn't see a rally until the looks like the mid 1930s when we came out of the Great Depression. So there's only been basically 4 times in history that this has happened. So that is kind of what I wanted to point out. A lot of people, you don't study your history, you don't realize what happened from year to year. It's very easy to get complacent. So one of the things I want to point out is the fact that we've been back to back up for 20% is extremely rare. So we have to have a plan in place to be profitable with options trading going into 2025. So what I am anticipating is sector rotation going into January. There's something called the January effect, which we talk about in our classes and we talk about in our community, where sectors from last year and the year before, like the large cap tech names and the Magnificent Seven, will probably get sold off just due to institutional rebalancing. Institutions have a mandate to stay in certain percentages in certain sectors. And unfortunately, even if a stock is doing well or a sector is doing well, sometimes they're forced to sell because they just have to maintain certain percentages. So they usually wait until January to do this because obviously you don't have to worry about the tax bill until a year later. So the January effect is real. And in a year where we have back-to-back profits like this, it's more than likely to happen. So I think energy, healthcare, some of the weaker performing sectors will probably catch a little bit of a bid and go a little bit higher, at least in the month of January. And then some of these large cap tech names, there's a good chance they might either be stagnant or potentially even sell off. And that is what we have to face going into 2025 in the very beginning. Not only that, because we've had these 2 up years, there's a very good chance that we'll see a lot of volatility going into 2025. We obviously have geopolitical risk. We have what's going on in Ukraine. We have what's going on in the Middle East. We have a new administration coming in. And these are all things that could create volatility. So I am optimistic about the economy overall. The economic numbers look good. But as option traders, we have to realize that we're going to get more volatility. So what does that mean exactly for option traders? Well, it means that puts and calls, when you're going long or whether you're going short, are likely going to be expensive. When volatility increases, the money that you pay for an option also increases, regardless of the direction of the stock that you're dealing with. So that being said, you have to have certain strategies in place that allow you to potentially profit from volatility. This is what we teach in our community. So credit spreads will probably be more common next year as opposed to debit spreads, which is one of my favorite strategies. Doing vertical spreads and diagonal spreads is something that I prefer to do. However, I think now going into 2025, we might have to flip the script and start selling premium instead of buying premium. Now, there's ways to do that that allow you to have pretty much defined risk as opposed to having unlimited risk, like if you just short a call option. Credit spreads allow you to do that. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, please like and subscribe to this channel. We're going to talk a lot about more about types of strategies to do. We're going to do live examples. I'm going to do plenty of videos, plenty of content. You can watch all you want. But if you want to take your trading to the next level, please check out our website and check out the programs that we offer. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is mindset. One of the things that I think a lot of traders overlook is mindset. So like I mentioned earlier, if you had a profitable year last year, that's great. But going into next year, be cautious. So when you're putting your trade plan together, you have to ask the questions that a news reporter would ask when they're putting together a news story. You have to ask the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. So who are you as a person? What is your personality like? Put that into your trade plan. Am I an optimist? Am I a pessimist? Am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? That's going to affect your trading. Once you're aware of what your strengths and weaknesses are as a person, then you could put buffers in place to prevent you from yourself, to prevent you from over trading, under trading, and making mistakes that are psychological in nature. Okay, that's number one. Number two is the how. How are you going to trade? What capital are you going to use? Are you going to start off with a small account, or are you going to borrow money and join a prop firm or something like that? You have to understand that you have to have a budget, obviously, in order to trade. Where are you going to trade? You should have a quiet place, obviously, a home office, that kind of thing. I'm not a big believer in using your cell phones to trade. You could obviously check things and make adjustments on your cell phone, but you should really dedicate, a laptop, maybe a second screen, so you can look at your blotter and your charts at the same time, and basically be able to trade in an organized way. You have to also think about, what are you going to trade? So what asset classes are you going to trade? I specialize in options. I enjoy options because they give me the most choices. They allow me to go long and short very easily on multiple things at multiple times and at the same time. I can also, like I mentioned earlier, be a debit trader or a credit trader. Options give you unlimited possibilities. So if you're interested in learning more about that, obviously follow more of this channel and you will see more examples. Then, as far as where are you going to trade and what are you going to trade, then when are you going to trade? If you are a full-time worker, if you have a full-time job, you have to allow some time. Now, I don't trade all day long, a couple of hours a day. I make adjustments throughout the week. I am a swing trader. So I can have a full-time job or a part-time job and still do what I do. So that's really important. Some people want to trade full-time and day trade. So that'll help you understand your strategy. It'll help you understand your time frame. So when is a very important question to ask. This is the beginning of the formulation of your trade plan, which is really important. Everybody has to have a trade plan. And finally, after you ask all those questions, the where, the when, the how, the who, the last and final thing you have to ask is why. Why are you doing this? What is your why? I have a very simple why, and that is, I want a life I do not want to have to take a vacation from. I want to be able to call my own shots, be my own boss, and not have to deal with the hustle and bustle of a typical 9-to-5 job. So to me, I like having multiple revenue streams. I don't want to be dependent on one revenue stream to meet my monthly expenses. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, trading is the right place to be. It just has to be done correctly. So 2025 is a great beginning for many of you to start thinking about this, start thinking about trade plans and what exactly are you trying to accomplish in the year ahead. So I want you to kind of consider those things and some of the things we talked about in this video. And if you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Okay, so have a wonderful rest of your year. I hope this video was helpful and insightful and kind of gave you some things to think about for the year ahead. And if there's anything else we can do for you, you know where to reach us. Our information will be on the link below. All right, have a wonderful year and a wonderful day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.